What's up, YouTube? It's Bianca J, and I'm back with another word. And so, I don't have a title for this word just yet, you guys, but today's word comes from something that me and my son was talking about a few days ago, and it was about closed doors, okay? And so, the Lord reminded me of a dream He had given me about a situation that was pertaining to someone that I knew, and then another dream. Uh, Following that dream, okay? And so the situation is about me and someone, the a guy that I used to date like for 10 years, and we ended up breaking up, and he went his separate way and I went my separate way, okay? And so we ended up reconnecting, and he lived in a total different state than I did, right? And so he had reached out and had asked me about us going to dinner, like once he came back into town, because I still stay in our hometown. And so I was, considering going to dinner, right? And so after that phone call, right, the Lord gives me a dream that night. And so in this dream, the Lord tells me, I will throw you both into the fire. And so I'll give you guys the setting of the dream. So we were inside of a parking garage. And so inside of this parking garage, I could see people sleeping in the parking garage, like on the ground in sleeping bags. And then I could see like people trying to start a fire with like those gasoline cans. And then I could see like this garage door opening up to the parking garage. And it looks like the enemy is like trying to crawl underneath as the garage is lifting, right? And so I'm like, I gotta get out of here, right? And so I tell him, I said, it was the guy that I used to date. It was someone else there that I knew, and like a couple other faces that people that I knew, right? And so then the rest of the people I did not know, right? And so I'm like, to the people that I was telling, the people that was inside of the parking garage, like, we have to go. And so no one wanted to listen. So I go into the guy that I used to date. I said, we need to leave. And he was like, no, he didn't want to leave, right? And so I'm like, I'm getting out of here, because after I tried to tell them that we had to leave, they stayed, I left, right? I took off running out of that parking garage. And so I ended up in like some green grass. And so then it was like these tall flowers, like the white flower with the yellow in the middle. I forget the name of that flower, but was coming out of the grass, right? And so then I ran into like this all white condo, and then it had like a white little picket fence around the condo. And so I went in and stayed. And so when I got to the balcony of that condo, I looked back and I could see some people were leaving out of the parking garage, but then there were still other people that were still in there. The people who left, it was only one person that I knew that did end up leaving that parking garage, and they were then standing in grass, right? And so then I woke up from the dream, right? And so when I woke up from the dream, I knew that the Lord was telling me to keep that door closed, right? When the Lord said I would throw you both into the fire, I was like, oh no, Lord, please, no, please. Okay. And so I'm like, I told the guy, I said, look, this isn't going to work out. It was a reason why I ended before, and, it's not going to work out this time. Like, we just need to cut all ties and leave it how it's been, right? And so he ended up like having a rebuttal, saying like, no, we can work it out. Like, I think you just overreacting. I think you're thinking too much into it. And I'm like, no. no. Like, in other words, like, you think I'm finna get thrown into the fire with you for me making the wrong choice? No, I'm not doing it. No, God is not playing. The firmness in God's voice when he spoke that to me in the dream, like, I knew he meant business and he was not playing, right? I'm like, and I ain't trying to mess around to find out. Okay, and so some months go by. I think that was like in December of 2021. And so now some months go by, and it's my birthday. What was it? 2000 and was it the August of 2022 or 2000? Yeah, August of 2022. So almost a year later. So he reaches out again because he remembers my birthday, right? And so he reaches out again. I think it was through like social media or something like that. And he was like, you know, your birthday coming up, can I take you to dinner? And I was like, no. But then I was like, maybe I could say yes, it's just dinner for my birthday, you know. But the Lord reminded me to leave that door closed, because God is going to always warn what he loves, right? And so later on that night, I have another dream. And so in this dream, I can tell like it was either like I was getting engaged at this dinner. And so the guy that I used to date, he walked in and he had a champagne bottle and he said, congratulations. And he went to go hand it to me. But the champagne bottle, the champagne bottle had like blood splatter on there. And then his hand had blood splatter on his hand. And I'm like, no, I'm not taking that. No, thank you. No. And so then I woke up. And so that was just a reminder. That was the Lord confirming what he had spoke to me before, leave this door closed. Because, you know, sometimes we can be tempted to go and open up a closed door, which we shouldn't. Like my initial response was no, but I was starting to second guess it, to like reconsider, to even say yes, just because I just figured it was just dinner. But some stuff isn't just that, right? And so the Lord knows who was on the other side of people, like spirits that people are battling, like generational curses that are on bloodlines, people who are sent by the enemy to cause delay, people who have their hands into things that you can't be involved in, right? Some people haven't been through the refining process and cleaned up, right? And so the Lord will protect you, because the Lord does not want what he has cleaned up getting back dirty again, right? And so in that, the Lord gave me another sign, right? He gave me another dream. He gave me another warning to keep that door closed. That's not what he has for me. And so in my own will, I was kind of considering saying yes after I had initially said no, right? And so ain't that just like the enemy to come and try to say, well, it's only dinner, right? And so that's just what the thought came to my head, like, oh, well, it's only dinner. And no, it's not only dinner. It was a closed door that I would have been opening. It was a soul tie that I could have potentially reconnected back with, right? Because I have been dating this guy for 10 years, and so it was like an off and on relationship for 10 years, and then finally I just ended it, right? And so if I had went back and opened up that door, the Lord was showing me, like with the parking garage, the people who were in that parking garage, these people were delayed. They were delayed from a promise. They were delayed from something that the Lord had for them. It was like a parked ministry, right? Because they chose to do their will instead of walking the Lord's will for their lives, right? And so that caused them delay, right? So a lot of these people weren't willing to walk away, right, from what the Lord had already spoken to them. Like the Lord spoke to me in that dream, and he was telling me to walk away. You know, I will throw you into the fire. I will throw you both into the fire. You need to be walking away. And so, and then I got up and ran. I knew that I couldn't stay there. I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. And so I, ended up making the right choice, right? And so for the people who were inside of that parking garage, these are people who walked out of the will of God, the will that God had for their lives. And so I too myself was inside of the parking garage, and the Lord spoke that to me, and I knew that I had to leave. I knew that wasn't the choice that I needed to make. I needed to get out of there. I wasn't supposed to be there. And I ran right into a green pasture, right? I ran right into a white condo where I could look back and see what I left behind, right? Like I wasn't supposed to be there, and the enemy was creeping in, right? That's the enemy creeping in on people, trying to convince them to open up these closed doors, trying to convince them to go back to these old relationships that the Lord never told you to go back to. Okay, and so I just came here with this word today to remind someone, if the Lord has spoken to you to close a door in the previous season and he hasn't gave you confirmation to reopen that door, the Lord does not keep constantly showing you and telling you to go back to that situation, don't go back. Because Opening up a closed door can cost you, right? It can cost you to go back to the pit. It can cost you to go back to have to go and battle things that you had already previously broke off of your bloodline, things that you had previously already broken off of you, things that the Lord has set you free from, and you going back to a closed door and reopening it. You're going to put yourself in a position in which you don't want to be. So the Lord sent me here today to tell you to leave that door closed. It's not worth it. And so this is the end of this video, you guys. But until my next video, stay focused and be blessed. And I'll see you on my next one. Bye.